We're in session in cause number 327-868. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Rebecca Lynn Eichmann. Ms. Eichmann, would you please come forward? Ms. Eichmann, you can stand in front of the bench on the X. Your full name is Rebecca Lynn Eichmann.
Okay, I want to let that, y'all have it under Eichmann. My legal last name is Cantrell. That warrant was put in Eichmann. I don't know if it's because my driver's license in the state of Texas was under Eichmann, but I was married here in Jefferson County.
Okay, so Eichmann is your maiden name?
Yes.
Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay. Now, I have before me two documents. The first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature on the line where it says defendant?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials on the line that says I want to apply for
Yes.
court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Also, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigency. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant's signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did you read the document?
Yes.
Did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay. Now, I've read the affidavit of indigency, and based on your responses, you qualify for the appointment, or you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And the attorney in this case that will be appointed to represent you is Mr. Joel Vasquez. This is Rebecca Eichmann, page 1 of the arraignment docket. Let's see. Okay. You can stand on the X right there. The clerk is going to swear you in. Well, stand on the 4X, and the court coordinator is Joel Vasquez. Oh, I need to put his name on there. Let me see it. Yeah, she signed on the she signed unsworn. There you go. You can get that to her. Yeah, that other guy.
It's right on
Which
top.
one?
It's right.
Yep. Josue Gutierrez. Gutierrez. Hey, Mr. Gutierrez, the document that I have before me is called Judge's Declination of Rights to Defend it Without an Attorney.
Ese documento que tienen, pues, es que usted se está representando usted mismo sin ningún abogado.
Do you recognize this document?
¿Reconoce ese?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials online stating that you would like to apply for co-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Also have a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence.
Ese documento es para pedir, aplicar para un abogado.
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Where's the signature? Oh, okay, here it is. Is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, before you signed and initialed these documents, did someone go over these documents with you in Spanish?
I didn't go over that one because it's in Spanish.
Okay, did you read it in Spanish? Excellent. Did you
Yeah,
read it?
it's Spanish.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gutierrez, I've reviewed the documents. You meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney.
Fue aprobado para que la corte le apunte un abogado.
And your attorney that's going to be appointed in this case is Mr. Charles Rojas.
El abogado que lo va a representar es el señor Charles Rojas.
Okay. Yo lo conozco.
Vamos. Ahorita les explico.
Es que todo está junto, eso. A mí se me tomó mi casa y me tomó entonces yo se los fui a pedir, pero como yo le debía un dinero a él, pero ya lo arreglé yo con él y él dice que no sabía que tenía que meter los cargos. Por eso, cada que me agarraban, me metían preso. Usted que pregunté qué pasaba.
Is that damn, they did it again.
Sorry.
No,
Um,
no, they got something that's not even an criminal mischief, family violence. Um, Mr. Boyd. Mr. Boyd,
Yes, sir.
there's a Okay, this is cause number 330-934, case of State of Texas versus Alton George St. Julian. Mr. St. Julian, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
St. Julian, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. St. Julian, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. St. Julian, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. St. Julian? That's good. Mr. St. Julian, I have before me two documents. First document is judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. Second document is affidavit of indigence. Now, Mr. St. Julian, you recognize these documents?
Yes, sir.
And you signed both of these documents and you initialed the judge's explanation?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, is everything true and correct in any of these documents?
Yes, sir.
Mr. St. Julian, I've read your responses and affidavit. Based on your responses, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. And your attorney that's going to be appointed in this case is Mr. John West. But I don't have it now, but I'm gonna have to give it to you. Mr. St. Julian, you could stand over. Well, just hold on a minute. She's still working on her.
Next birthday is January 26th.
Yeah, he can have a seat right there, I guess.
Yes. Is there a seat right here?
If he doesn't contact you within 24 hours at this number. Thank you. That's what I said. He's gonna contact you at the number you gave me. You see what I pointed to at the bottom? That's his number. You contact him if he don't call you, okay?
Yeah. And when you finish with it, he's gonna have to come back and have to give us some bond conditions.
Okay.
Shirley, could you make a copy of this? No, I'm gonna have him come back up. Please. Victoria Koch. Please come forward. Okay, Ms. Koch.
The next court date is January 26th. He should be contacting you within 24 hours of the number you gave. If he does not, call him at that number.
Okay, have a seat right there. I'm gonna have to call him back up. Okay, Ms. Koch, I have before me two documents. First document is judge's explanation of rights of defendants without an attorney, and the second document is affidavit of indigence. Would you please raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, put it down. Ms. Koch, these two documents, you have your signatures and initials on these documents. Prior to signing these and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes,
Did you
sir.
understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your
Yes,
knowledge?
sir.
Okay, Ms. Koch, I read the documents, affidavit of indigence. You meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. The attorney that's going to be appointed in this case is Mr. William Wilkerson. Stand on the 4X.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay, you're welcome. Alton St. Julian. Mr. St. Julian, you was just handed out a document that is titled Standard Bond Conditions in County Court Law Number 2. Do you see that document? Okay, I'm going to go over these conditions with you. And it reads, following the arrest and or accusation in County Court Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named herein or ordered subject to the following additional conditions. Number one, the defendant shall commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or of the United States. Do you understand that condition? Condition number two, the defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time it's directed by the court, and the court may revoke the bond and order arrest of any defendant who, A, refuses to submit to a test for drugs and alcohol when directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol, and the test indicates the presence of drugs or alcohol in the defendant's body. And that's pursuant to Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.44, A2 and C2. Do you understand that condition?
That's fine. I don't understand what business.
You're out on bond, and that's a condition of your bond. Okay, the first condition said you can't commit an offense against this state, any other state, or against the United States. Second condition says that if the court directs you to submit to testing for drugs and alcohol, and if you refuse to submit to a test for drugs or alcohol, or if you submit to a test for drugs and alcohol, and you test positive for the presence of drugs or alcohol in your body, then your bond can be revoked. And condition number three. Now, do you understand those two conditions I just mentioned? Okay, that's fine. Well, you just make sure you don't do any, because if you test positive, you could be placed in jail. Your bond can be revoked. Now, condition number three, the defendant shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense and the defendant shall not go near any resident school or other location frequented by the alleged victim. Do you understand that?
No, that's what I'm not understanding, like, all right, like my wife went to, well, no, this is trying to see if I can show it.
Okay, let me, the state has picked a choice. Now, let me tell you to say you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that? All right. So this condition, do you understand condition number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, now condition number 4 does not apply to you because it only applies in the DWI case. Now, if you violate any one of those conditions, your bond can be revoked and you could be placed in the Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that, she's giving you a reset date and you were appointed a court-appointed attorney. This will conclude your case. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I need to give him some bond conditions. Oh, shoot. Well, let me do those other folks because we'll have to get Cindy over here and is that Ostos? Okay, Jeffrey Ostos. Okay. Okay, Mr. Ostos, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Ostos, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ostos, I have 2 documents for me. First document, judge's explanation of rights of defense for our attorney, and the second document is the affidavit of indigence. Now, do you recognize these documents?
Yes, sir.
And there's a signature on each one of these documents and an initial plus a signature on the judge's explanation of rights of defendants for our attorney. Are those your signatures and initials?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you read these documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything true and correct in this document?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ashtos, I read the affidavit of indigence based on your responses. I don't think you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney.
Okay.
Okay. So, your case can be reset to give you an opportunity to see if you can hire. You have 2 options left. You could either hire an attorney or you can represent yourself. Okay, because you don't meet the eligibility for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. Okay. And so, what do you desire to do?
I'll hire him.
Hire one? Okay, now we need to make a change on this.
You want him to do a new one or?
Yeah, he can. Well, he could just make a change on this one. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this goes to, here you go. You stand on the 4X.
Okay, go ahead and sign it right here. You won't see it, but I will.
¿Le queda su esposo?
Okay. We can do this in 1 or 2 ways. 30th. I gotta give them some bond conditions. Here you go.
RCCs.
Let me actually share. We could do one or two. We're back in session at cause number 328-814 and cause number 331-048. Case is styled State of Texas versus Josue Gutierrez. Mr. Gutierrez, first of all, we have Ms. Cynthia Renteria, who will be interpreting for the court. Ms. Renteria, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Renteria, do you swear or affirm to interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish to help you God? You may put your hand down. Mr. Gutierrez, I have bond conditions that I will go over with you.
Va a explicarle las condiciones de su fianza.
And just for the record, Mr. Gutierrez does speak English, but he's have some issues with some words in English. Is that correct?
Eso es cierto, que entiende inglés, pero algunas palabras no las
Yes,
entiende.
that's correct.
Okay,
I can understand just the basic.
basic, you
not
can understand
like-
basic.
Not like, I mean, hard things on the court is different.
Okay, so, okay, now I'll go over these conditions, which it says, following the arrest and or accusation in County Court at Law Number 2, Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named here in the order, subject to the following additional conditions.
Estas son las condiciones de su fianza.
Number 1, the defendant shall commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or of the United States.
¿Sí entiendes? Dice que usted no va a cometer ninguna otra ofensa en las leyes de este estado o ningún otro estado en los Estados Unidos.
Do you understand that?
¿Se entiende?
Yes.
All right. Condition number 2, the defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time as directed by the court. The court may revoke the bond and order the arrest of any defendant who, A, refuses to submit to a test for drugs and alcohol when directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol, and the test indicates the presence of drugs and alcohol in the defendant's body.
La segunda está diciendo que usted puede ser sometido a algunas pruebas de drogas o de alcohol a cualquier momento dirigido por la corte. Si la corte le puede revocar su fianza o arrestarlo si encuentra, primero si usted rechaza un examen de droga o de alcohol. También la corte puede revocar su aprobación si usted se somete a un examen de drogas y alcohol. Y si el examen sale positivo de estos en su cuerpo, entonces la corte puede revocar su fianza.
Okay.
You can do anything. I don't drink in that.
Okay. And condition number 3, the defendant shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense. The defendant shall not go near any residence, school, or other location frequented by the alleged victim.
El número 3 está diciendo que usted también no se puede comunicar ni ir directamente o indirectamente con la persona o la víctima de este caso.
Do you
It's my
understand?
brother, I mean, I'm see him every week on a church.
Well, do you
But,
understand?
Yeah, he's a pastor and we. go
Okay,
down.
Mr.
It's just one.
Okay, Mr. Josue Gutierrez, you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
No más, no diga nada porque eso
Okay.
le puede afectar.
You have a right to have an
en este
attorney. You have
caso.
already been appointed an attorney.
Sure.
Todo eso se lo
Just
dice su
keep the
abogado.
distance in communication. I can do that.
Okay. All right. And number 4 doesn't apply to you.
El
So
4 no aplica a usted.
if you violate the conditions, your bond can be revoked, which means you could be put in jail.
Si usted viola sus condiciones de su fianza puede ser revocada y lo ponen en la cárcel.
All right.
Okay. Eso es
Follow the
todo.
bill.
Is this here?
That's his copy.
Esto es de usted. Va a seguir a la oficina.
Joshua Burns. Who's Joshua Burns? Is he in the back?
He went to the restroom.
Oh, that's all right. I'll go to the next person. We'll get him when he comes. Okay. The Ming fam. Did you come forward? Oh, that's it. Thank
I'm
you.
waiting for him to put
Oh.
it up so I can pass by there.
Okay. Mr. Pham, I have 2 documents before me. First document is the judge's explanation of rights of defense without children. Without an attorney. Do you recognize this? And the second document is affidavit of indigence. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, would you please raise your right hand? You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Now, you may put your hand down. Did you read these documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pham, I've read these documents, read the responses. Based on your response and affidavit of indigence, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And your attorney that's going to be appointed in this case is Attorney Langston Adams. Pham, what is your charge? Mr. Pham, you can stand on the 4X in front of our court coordinator and follow her directions. Elise Ballard. Automatic qualifying. Your full name is Elise Ballard? Alize Ballard?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ballard, could you please raise your right hand? Ms. Ballard, you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Ballard? That's good, Ms. Ballard. I have before me 2 documents. First document, affidavit of indigence. Second document is a judge's explanation of rights of defense without attorney. And are these your signatures in these documents? And are these your initials on the judge's explanation of rights of defense without an attorney? Now, before you sign and initial these documents, did you read the document? documents?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay, Ms. Ballard, I've read your responses. Based on your responses, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And your attorney that's going to be appointed in your case is Mr. Terrence Allison. Now, that's the defendant. Now, Ms. Ballard, please stand on the 4X in front of our court coordinator and follow her directions. What you have?
Mr. Kindler just texted me. He just wanted to know about that Cormier on the trial docket, whether or not
Well, it's still set.
it was in a, well, the state was going to move orally for continuance on it. He wanted to know if he needed to zoom in or be here.
He can zoom in, but we got arraignments going on right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll tell him later. He just wanted to know if he
Yeah.
needed to zoom in.
Hmm.
Yeah, 728 or 778. 728.
Who they live with somebody? They don't have no. They live with some, Katie Hollis. She's in. Okay, that's fine.
You should be contacted within 24 hours.
Okay, this is cause number 327676. The case is style of State of Texas versus Katie Hollis. Your name is Katie Hollis? Okay, they have your maiden name, Katie Hollis? Okay. 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 Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Okay, you may put your hand down. How are you doing? Okay. We hope that it gets better. Okay. Now, let's see, Ms. Hollis. I have before me two documents. And the document that I have is an affidavit of indigence and a judge explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. You recognize these documents? Could you show these, and just hold? Okay, just hold, just leave that. Now, are those your signatures in those documents? One is on the first page, the second one is on the affidavit is on the second page. And they have a set of initials on the line that is titled, what a state you want to apply for a court-appointed attorney. Okay, now, did you read those documents before you signed them? Okay, what we're gonna do is we'll let you take a few minutes to read them. We need to make sure you understand what you signed. Yeah, just have y'all can you can pull over to the table, and then when we're ready, we'll call it back up. Who else we have? Did Burns ever come back in?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Burns. Okay, let me do this. Joshua Burns. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may put your hand down, Mr. Burns. How are you doing, Mr. Burns? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Burns, I have two documents for me. First document is the affidavit of indigence. And the second document is the judge's explanation. Do you recognize these documents? Are these your signatures and initials on these documents? Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents? Did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents pure and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Burns, I read the documents. You meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. Your attorney that's going to be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Don Boudreaux. Okay, just hold on a minute. Okay, now, okay, now, Mr. Burns, please stand on the 4X in front of our court coordinator and follow her directions. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Thank you. And you can have her to come back up. Hollis. Ms. Hollis, you can come on back up. Once you hand her, give me the paperwork. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Hollis, if you read the paper, Ms. Hollis, you recognize these documents?
Yes,
And did you have an opportunity to read them?
well, yeah,
And did you understand what you read?
I understand what you're about.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
That's my knowledge.
Yeah, is everything true and correct? The responses that you made?
Account 1 or 2 is on the expenses, the last 2 you should take out,
Huh?
like the credit card payments.
What about it?
Next one is January 26th.
She said, take it out. Just, no, just let her make the changes that whatever changes she needs to make.
Just have to see.
Did she change the total? Is that, you finished with that guy? Burns? The guy that just came up before you? Oh,
Can you go and jump on to see the
okay. Now, Miss, let me do this here. Okay, now, Ms. Hollis, I read your responses in an affidavit of indigency. You meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And the attorney that's gonna be appointed in this case is Mr. Tom Burbank. And what is she, Ms. Hollis? Ms. Hollis? Sir, would you please go over there to the X in front of our court coordinator? And you're gonna follow the directions of our court coordinator. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. And we hope your day get better. Your weeks and your months and your years. Here you go. I got one. Oh. Oh, this is the person that was in the back, huh?
Okay.
Karen Johnson. I think somebody was applying for.
Only one person
What's
wanted to
that
speak.
phone number?
Where is it? Where's that paperwork?
It should be up there with you, Judge.
Phone number,
She might have it.
832-739.
Ms. Johnson, would you please raise your right hand? You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, how you doing, Ms. Johnson? That's good, Ms. Johnson. I have before me judge's explanation of rights of defense by attorney and an affidavit of indigence. Did you have an opportunity to read these documents?
I did.
And did you read these documents?
I did.
And are these your signatures and initials in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay, Ms. Johnson, I've read your responses. Based on the responses, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. An attorney that's going to be appointed in your case. That's Ms. Johnson, Karen Johnson. Is going to be Mr. Bruce Cobb.
Okay. Excuse me. The attorney's name is Tom Burbank. The next court date is January 26th. He'll be contacting you within 24 hours at the number you provided. If he does not, call him at his number. Thank you.
Johnson. Ms. Johnson, you can stand on the 4X in front of our court coordinator. Bruce Cobb is appointed.
Is this?
That's the one for,
Okay.
they need to talk to. Daniel Holt? Okay. Mr. Hope, would you please raise, now, your full name is Daniel Robinson Hope?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hope, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Hope, do you swear, affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see here, you're also known as Daniel Isaiah Robinson Hope.
Yes, sir. And the middle name, Isaiah.
Isaiah is your middle name? Okay. Conditions on him. How many of these bond conditions?
The attorney's name is Bruce Cole. The next court date is January 25th. He should be contacting you at the number that you provided. If he does not, I'll let that know. Thank you. 24.
Okay, I'll go over that. I'm gonna go over that with you in a minute.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Holt, I have before me affidavit of indigence and a judge's explanation of rights to defend a sworn attorney. You recognize these documents?
Yes, sir.
And on these documents, there's initials, signature. Are these your initials and signatures on these documents?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Holt. I've read the documents, meet the eligibility requirements for appointment of court-appointed attorney. The attorney that's going to be appointed in this case is Attorney Giles Cole.
Cool.
And Mr. Holt, I'm going to go with bond conditions that were just handed out to you. And do you see those bond conditions?
Yes, sir.
Now, and it reads, this title is Standard Bond Conditions in County Court at Law Number 2. And it reads, following the arrest and or accusation in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named herein are ordered subject to the following additional conditions. Number 1, defendant shall commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or against the United States. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, sir.
Condition number 2, the defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol At any time it's directed by the court may revoke the bond and order the arrest of any defendant who A, refuses to submit to test for drugs and alcohol when they're directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol, and the test indicates the presence of drugs and alcohol in the defendant's body, and that's pursuant to the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.44, Section A2 and C2. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, sir.
And condition number 3, the defendant shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense, and the defendant shall not go near any residence, school, or other location frequented by the alleged victim. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, condition number 4 doesn't apply. That only applies in the DWI case. You do not have a DWI case. Now, Mr. Holt, if you violate any one of these conditions, your bond can be revoked, and if your bond is revoked, warrant can be issued for your arrest, and you could be arrested on this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Holt, please stand on the X next to, or in front of our court coordinator. She's gonna reset your case. Once she resets your case, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.